Dear students, welcome to our official YouTube channel of Hasmukh Goswami College of Engineering, and I am Professor Bhumika Leva from Electronics and Communication Department, and today I am starting a new lecture series on digital signal processing. And in this subject I will start first, that is the signal. So first we will focus on signal, what is the meaning of the signal and how the signal can be represented by different methods, and number of classifications of signals we are studying in this lecture. So let us start from the signal. So the very simple definition of the signal is nothing but it is used to convey some information, right? So the basic simple method is convey the information. Okay, so as in our daily life there are number of the natural signals we are using. So first is the very important signal, that is our speech signal. So the speech signal is nothing but it's a voice signal. Okay, so right now whatever I am speaking, that is a one type of the signal, and there is some information, so it's called as a signal. Second is the ECG signal. So as we know, ECG signals is used in a medical system where the doctor can measure the patient's heartbeat. Okay, so it's a one type of the signal which is used to measure the patient's heartbeat. So it gives the some information. So what is the main criteria? Signal is nothing but it gives the some information, right? Same way there is a EEG signal. Okay, it gives a brain pattern of the patient. So this is also one type of the signal. Now signal, we can define the signal in the number of ways. So the first definition in terms of mathematically, so it is nothing but it is the function which depends on one or more independent variable. So take one very simple example, suppose S1t. Okay, so that is the phi of t. Now see in this example, this function S1t, that is depend on the only one independent variable. So the value of this S1t is totally depend on the time variable t. So signal is nothing but it is a one type of the function that is depend on one or more independent variable. In this case, this signal is linearly varied with respect to time t. Suppose I am putting t is equal to 0, then S1 0 we are getting, that is 0. Suppose I am putting t is equal to 10 seconds, then it S1 10 is equal to 50. So that depends on the time variable t. Same way, suppose I am taking one more example, S2t, that is equal to 5t square. Okay, so in this case the signal S2t depends on the time variable but in terms of quadratic. Okay, so this is nothing but the mathematical representation, or mathematically we can define the signal. Same way in the general method, in the general definition, we can say that it's a one type of, it is a physical quantity which contains some information, and it varies with respect to time, temperature, space, or any other independent variable. Okay, so this is the general definition of the signal. Okay, so this is the very most important definition of the signal. So signal is nothing but it is any physical quantity which contains some information, and it varies with respect to time, temperature, space, or any other independent variable. Okay, now the representation of the signal. So how to represent the signal? So there are the four methods to represent the signal. First one is the mathematical form. So as already we explained about one signal, that is S1t is equal to phi of t. So this is nothing but it is the mathematical representation of the signal. So it is the mathematical form. Now the next one is the tabular form. Now suppose I am putting the different value of the time and finding the value of amplitude S1t. So suppose t is equal to 0, S1t is equal to 0. Okay. Now t is equal to 10, S1 10 is equal to 50, right? So if I am putting the different value of the time and we are finding the amplitude of this signal, or we can say value of this function, so this is nothing but it's a tabular form, in the form of table, right? So in this way also the signal can also define. Okay. Now the next method is the graphical form. So suppose if I am plotting this value of this function in a graph paper. Okay, so this is the time variable and this one is the function S1t. And if I am putting the different value of the time 0, 10, 20 and the amplitude of S10 is equal to 0, then 10 by 50. Okay, and if I am plotting the graph, so this is nothing but the graphical form of the signal. Okay, now the last one is the sequence form. Okay, so this is the most important form which is used to represent the signal in digital signal processing. How? So if I am putting the value of t is equal to 0, so I am writing this sig function. So at the t is equal to 0, I am getting the value of 0. At the t is equal to 10 second, I am getting the value of 50. Same way at the t is equal to 20 second, I am getting this value is 100. Right? So this output is nothing but it's a one type of the sequence, and at the t is equal to 0, that is known as the reference sequence, reference number. So here I am putting one arrow to indicate the origin of the signal. So this is nothing but the representation of the signal in terms of the sequence. S1 sequence, S2 sequence, S3 sequence. Okay, so these are the representation of the signal. Now our next topic is the classification of the signal. So basically there are the 4 classification of the signal. So first we are starting from the first classification, that is the continuous time signal, or it's a discrete time signal. Now this continuous time signal and the discrete time signal is based on a characteristics of the independent variable. So here the independent variable is the time. Okay, and how the values we are taken at this time interval. Okay, so first continuous time signal. So suppose I am drawing one signal, that is the sinusoidal wave. So as we know the sinusoidal wave, its value x of t is equal to a sin omega t. So this classification is depends on the independent variable. So here the independent variable is the time t and this one is the amplitude x of t. So in this case, each and every instance of the time, see here, each and every instant of the time we takes the value of signal. Okay, so it's known as the continuous time signal, and in the simple way we can also say that it's an analog signal. Okay, so it important is the time signal. We can take the every instant of the time, each and every instant of the time. But in the discrete time signal, we are taking only some instance of the time. Okay, only some instant of the time. So suppose I am plotting at this time interval what is the amplitude, at this time interval what is the amplitude. So this one is nothing but the discrete time signal. Okay, so the difference between that, here we are taking all the values of the time, and in this case we take only some of the instances, we take the amplitude. So this is nothing but the discrete time signal. And in discrete time signal, the time as well as amplitude both are in the discrete nature. Okay, so if both are in the discrete nature, then it is called as a digital signal. Okay, but as we know, in this case any of the amplitude is here. So suppose it is 0.8, 0.6, so any of the amplitude. But in case of the digital, we take only two samples, that is 0 and 1. So for the digital signal we take only 0 and 1. So same way here, time is discrete as well as amplitude is discrete. So digital signal is nothing but it is also one discrete signal, but its samples are only 0 and 1. So that is nothing but the digital signal. Okay, so in this subject we have to process this digital signal. Okay, that we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, now the next is the continuous valued signal and the discrete valued signal. So see here, in continuous time domain we focus on a time, okay, but in continuous valued signal we have to focus on a amplitude. Okay, so in continuous valued signal, if the amplitude variation is continuously, then it's called as a continuous valued signal. So see this example, these two examples. In this case, the amplitude is continuously varying, but its nature is in continuous domain. So it's called as a continuous valued signal. So the signal is known as the continuous valued as well as continuous time signal. Same way, this signal, this discrete time signal, in this case the amplitude is also continuously varied. So it's also called as a continuous valued signal. But in discrete valued signal, that can be defined in the two way. Okay. Now discrete valued signal can be either in the continuous in time domain or it is in a discrete in time domain. So see here, in this first figure, the time domain signal is continually varying, but its amplitude is only discretely. So for this instance, 0 to 5, the amplitude is fixed, that is 5. So it's a discrete value. After the interval 5 to 10, that amplitude is only 10. So it's a discrete value. So we can say that amplitude is the discrete value. So it's called as a discrete valued signal, but it's the time signal is continuously varied. So this signal is known as the discrete valued signal in continuous in time domain nature. Same way, suppose see in this figure, this time domain signal is also discrete as well as the amplitude is also discrete. See here, there is a 5 in, up to 0 to 5 time, the amplitude only discrete, that is 5. Then after 5 to 10, the amplitude is only 10, that is also discrete. And the 10 to 15 second, the amplitude is also continuously 15. So it's called as a discrete amplitude. So this type of the signal is called as a discrete valued discrete in time domain. So in this classification, there are also two sub-classifications, that is the discrete value signal continuous in time domain, and the second one is the discrete valued discrete in time domain. Now the next classification is the random signal or the deterministic signal. Okay. Now the deterministic signal is nothing but those signals which are represented by the mathematically form, any mathematical equation we can represent, or any table form, or we can say any formula based. Then this type of the signal is known as the deterministic signal. Suppose I am taking one very most important example is this sinusoidal signal. Okay, so the sinusoidal signal y of t is equal to a sin omega t. Now this sine signal we can represent it by the mathematical form. We cannot change any of the value from this signal. As we know, at t is equal to 0, y of 0 is always, sine wave is always 0. And the t is equal to pi by 2, it is always 1 value. So it's a fixed value, it's a fixed information. So that type of the signal we can known as a deterministic signal. That means there is no any probability of the signal. Okay. But in the random signal, those signals which are not represented by any mathematical form, that called as a random signal. Suppose I am taking one example that is noise signal. Okay, so we cannot write any equation of the noise signal. Same way the speech signal, we cannot write the equation for the speech signal. So these are the known as the random signal, means there is a probability of the information. So this is the random signal and the deterministic signal. Now the next classification is the multi-channel or multi-dimensional signal. Now what is the meaning of multi-channel? As we know, suppose our signal is depend only one channel or one source, that is called the single channel signal. But if our signal is depends on a more than one independent channel, then it is called the multi-channel signal. Suppose I am taking one example of the multi-channel is ECG signal. Okay. Now as we know, for ECG signal there are 3 leads or 12 leads are connected on the body of the patients, and the resultant waveform of these 3 or 12 leads are plotted on a screen of the ECG machine. Okay, so it's depend on a more than 3 inputs, more than 3 channels or the sensor. So this is known as the multi-channel signal. So the multi-channel signal is represented by in this way, in the matrix form. Okay, X1T, X2T and the X3. So this is the signal of the ECG signal. Okay, so that depends on the 3 leads. And the multi-dimensional signal is nothing but the, suppose I am giving one more example, that is the television picture. Okay, so in the television picture, as we know, each and every pixels or dot we can represent it by the X coordinate and the Y coordinate. So the signal can be represented by the 2-dimensional. So it's called as a multi-dimensional signal. Same way, suppose I am taking one more example, that is the color television signal. Okay, so in the color television signal there are 3 basic principal color. One is the red, one is the green and one is the blue. Okay, so and as well as in red, green and blue color, it depend on the X coordinate, Y coordinate as well as in the time coordinate. So for the color picture we can write down this type of the equation. So for the 3 colors, red, green and blue, it depend on the 3 dimensions, X, Y and T. So this signal is known as the multi-channel as well as the multi-dimensional. See here, because it depends on the 3 channels. One for the red, one for the green and one for the blue. So it's a multi-channel signal as well as it depends on the 3 independent variable, that is X, Y and T. So it's called as a multi-dimensional signal. So this is the combination of both multi-channel as well as in the multi-dimensional signal. Thank you for watching our video. Please like it, share it and subscribe.